But my name is Riley Magnuson, your solo host this afternoon for the closing bell. Wednesday, May 3rd. Looking forward to tonight's slate of games. As I usually say, going to keep this thing short and sweet when I'm solo, not only because, we've got only one NBA game tonight, a handful of MLB games, but a bunch of them already in the tank. But also because I've got to get out of here and give the stage over to Mr. Jeff Dawson at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Less than an hour away. He will be talking with Brady Cannon, breaking down Wells Fargo this weekend at Quail Hollow for the PGA Tour. Should be a great show. If you're looking for any golf angles, definitely want to check that out here. Less than an hour for those two talking Wells Fargo Championship. So I am going to be short and sweet. Evening, Connor. Thank you for stopping by. If you've been sticking around, you obviously saw Jeff and Ron A Sports talking NFL Draft 2023. So going to keep things moving along into the evening. And like I said, get out of here so they can take the stage at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 5 p.m. my time. Without further ado, though, jumping right into going back to yesterday's show, obviously have Knicks win 111-105 over Miami. We were kind of torn on that game overall, aside from at least I think we both thought the Knicks would even that series. There was a little bit of goofiness with Jimmy Butler, obviously. But evening, Billy. Thanks for stopping by. And then as well as the Lakers and Golden State series, kind of torn on last night's game necessarily, I'd say. But Jeff and I both thought that the Lakers would not only compete in this series, but have a good chance to win this series altogether. So would have preferred them to maybe drop that first one and either attack Game 2 with the Lakers potentially, or even attack Game 3 and 4. Still potentially going to attack Game 3 and 4, depending on how Game 2 goes, but might make Game 2 a little tougher to judge between the Lakers and Golden State. I believe that is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So we will get there when we get there. As far as tonight, you've got Philly and Boston. From what I'm barring any setbacks, haven't heard anything negative. Believe you will have Joel Embiid back in the building. For the Sixers, back in a jersey playing, I should say. Got the MVP award, and now is per him is back, so he should be good to go. Despite that, though, you've got the Sixers up 1-0, but you're seeing an 8.5 point spread right now for that game. 216.5 is the total. So interesting to see. Obviously, the Sixers obviously garnering a lot of money, given they won the first game without Embiid. Now they get the MVP back, and potentially a motivated Embiid, fired up Embiid after winning the MVP, ready to go, and missing Game 1 there. So a lot of people back in Philly, and I can understand that. I do expect the Celtics to turn it on and win this game outright tonight. I don't think they have deep flaws or anything that led them to win Game 1. I think you just had a really, nobody believes in a Sixers team kind of in Game 1 up against a non-urgent Celtics team to some degree. So I'm going to say the Celtics go ahead and even the series up, take it back to Philly 1-1. Do they cover the 8.5? I mean, it's a tough one to judge. I'm not going to jump into it, but I mean, you saw the Celtics throughout the season. Regardless of who it was, if they showed up ready to play, they can absolutely put together a blowout and win this thing by 15. So would that shock me? It would not shock me at all. Having said that, obviously, it still wouldn't shock me. Obviously, it sounds like I'm playing both sides here, but I wouldn't shock me if the Sixers kept this one close. So I'll lean towards not only feel very good about the Celtics even in this series, but would not shock me at all to see them winning this game by double digits. I will lean towards the Celtics laying the points. That's obviously me. This one is tricky. I'm not jumping into it, not feeling confident to play this one. But I would say the Sixers might be better suited. Aside from Embiid, maybe obviously he's going to be motivated, but they got to set their sights on winning some games in Philly. So I think you're going to get a really motivated Celtics squad that's going to be out for vengeance tonight, and that's going to be all she wrote. So whether it's close or not, it wouldn't surprise me if it's close, but I'm going to lean towards the Celtics. As far as the total, I'm going to go lean into the under in this one. These two teams back in April played a 103-101 game Before that, they played a 106-99 game early in the season. I'm going to say it's kind of closer to that, where one of these teams is going to get to 105 to 108 range, and the other one might be struggling to crack 100. So I'm going to give it a Celtics victory, 108-98, I guess is what my prediction is going to be on that one. So that would give you a 10-point win and the under there. Not overly confident on the total necessarily, but that is certainly where I'm leaning right there. So we can move right on from the basketball. There are a handful of baseball games tonight, and then I will get out of here. As far as NHL, I always tell you I'm not the NHL guy. I lost my entertainment ticket a couple nights ago. Need to find a new one here at some point. You do have two solid games. Game one's Devils and Hurricanes. Oilers and Knights. If anyone's got any thoughts on that, go ahead and drop it in. I will not stop you, not argue with you by any means as far as that one is concerned. Billy, Guardians line looks super low for a Bieber-Schmidt matchup, in my opinion. Thoughts? Yeah, let's jump right over to it. We can move right on over to that one. Minus 120 as far as Cleveland. Definitely, I would agree with you. That is kind of eye-opening there. Especially considering, obviously, it's not a Yankees that's 20-10, and they're 16-15 and kind of pedestrian so far. I didn't have my baseball notes pulled up here, so I as far as Bieber is concerned, he hasn't quite looked like himself. At some point, he probably is going to look like himself, so that would be, what's keeping me away from betting against him necessarily, but in this case, you have a guy in Schmidt who has not been very good. Last time out, 10 hits, 5 earned runs. Bieber, what's concerning for him, he earned run-wise not terrible. He's not giving up a ton of runs, so maybe you feel like that could blow up on him before he fixes things. Only 26 Ks over 37 and 2/3 inning. Not like him at all. He's typically, in the past, I think he's been has over a 1K per strikeout per inning ratio. So to be under 26 Ks across 37 and 2/3 innings, it's kind of eye-opening. And he hasn't really. I think I was looking at it. I think a lot of his starts have 4 or 5 strikeouts, that type of deal. So really hasn't been as explosive as much movement as you would expect out of him. So that's what's concerning to me. Again, at some point, will he break out and probably be looking like his old self? I would say probably. But there's also a good chance that, he does have one actual regression start. I think so far he hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs. So I'm with you, Billy. That's from my opinion, that's good eyes as far as thinking that one's stinky. Yeah, I was right about the strikeouts. One start where he's got 7 strikeouts. The other ones, his last 4 have been exactly 4 strikeouts. And he's staying in these games. He's going through, around 100 pitches. Only one outing where he's given up 9 hits. The other one have been fine. Handful of walks, though, is a little concerning. So something isn't quite right yet with Bieber. I'm curious to see if he gets there at some point soon or not. But, no, that's solid eyes there. And like I said, as far as Clark Schmidt is concerned, might as well be Clark Griswold. 10 hits, 5 earned runs last time out. Time before that, 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 unearned runs, I think, gave up, I guess, a couple unearned home runs, so that's a bad example there. But, I would say, I don't have much of a feel for Clark Schmidt, so maybe you're a little more interested in that. He's team total, I don't know. But I could absolutely see Bieber this being the start where he finally, the other offense breaks through a little bit and actually beats him up and takes advantage of him giving up the contact that he's given up, because he's given up so much more contact than he's used to in past years. So thank you for bringing that one up, Billy. I'm glad you brought that one up. As I mentioned, there's, I think, 2 games going on right now. 3 games final. Detroit 6-5, Arizona 12-7, and San Francisco 4-2. You've got the Dodgers down 5-1 in the 4th right now, and San Diego up 2-0 right now. As far as some of these other games are concerned, Atlanta and Miami, I believe, is the one of the next ones up here. I'm pulling up the wrong game. Atlanta, Miami. You've got Kyle Wright and Braxton Garrett. Interesting spot here. Obviously, yesterday you get the Miami Marlins as favorites, losing 6-0 with Alcantara on the mound. Now you got them as dogs. So this one is a little tricky for me. I would say, maybe you're at a point where you're expecting Kyler Wright to be a little bit better than he's been. He hasn't been great to this point. I would say mediocre. Hasn't been terrible, hasn't been great. I could see him being a lot better. And on the flip side, Braxton Garrett, 2.45 ERA. He's been pretty solid so far. These two guys just saw, I want to say it was a rain delay because each pitcher pitched their last outing last Thursday, exactly 3 innings, and then it must have been a rain delay or something along those lines. Faced these opposing offenses one plus time through the lineup. So maybe you think this is going to be a little higher scoring game. For that fact, maybe I lean towards some runs being scored in this one. But I could see the Braves putting up a few runs on Garrett, maybe seeing him regress a little bit here. But this is a tough one to get into. In certain spots I like the Marlins as an underdog. So it kind of depends on what your judgment is of this pitching matchup in this one, I would say. So I'm going to avoid that one, a little bit more of a toss-up than I'm making it sound like. Let's see. Pittsburgh and Tampa. You've obviously got Keller and McClanahan on the mound. McClanahan has been really solid so far, obviously. 2 earned runs or less in each of his. Keller's not been bad. 3 earned runs or less in his last 5. And you got a total of 7 right now. So this is obviously a kind of a tricky series because you've got the scorching hot Tampa Bay team expecting some type of regression, not saying screeching regression or anything along those lines, up against a Pirates team that obviously people would expect potentially some screeching regression. So whether that happens again here today, Tampa won yesterday 4-1, I don't know. I'm going to avoid Pittsburgh's offense for a little bit. I think their offense could really struggle for a bit here and could certainly struggle against McClanahan. So, but on the other hand, Mitch Keller has not been bad at all. Maybe you would expect him to finally hit some regression. He's had a couple starts where he's given up some hits. So I could see Tampa. But at the end of the day, I'm staying away from this one just because you've kind of ran their well dry on Tampa a little bit here. They're plus money on the run line with McClanahan on the mound. So, but at the end of the day, they're minus 150, minus a half run in the first 5. So this one is a tough one to get into for me here altogether. Game 2, Mets and Tigers. Tigers actually won game 1 6-5, so you would probably expect with Mad Max on the mound, you would expect the Mets to take care of business in this one. Might not be as easy as you would think, but I believe I could be wrong, but I want to say this is Max's first start after the sticky stuff incident and the small suspension or whatever it was. So I'll stay away from that one. Would expect the Mets to split the doubleheader from the Tigers, but honestly, I would like the number to be a little steeper, if I'm being totally honest. Minus 210 is it seems like it's a little inflated. It opened a little less than that, so a little concerning. But maybe this is a close, 4-3 type game, and anyone who's got the run line is feeling sorry for themselves. But I'll stay away from that one altogether as well. Let's see. Moving down the line, if anyone's got anything that I'm skipping, feel free to stop me. I'm going to skip a couple here. Toronto and Boston, Manoah and Pivetta, similar situation, different category, similar situation like I was talking with Bieber. Manoah has had a couple bad starts, not quite as sharp as he usually is. Obviously, Jeff Dawson's a big Manoah guy. He would tell you this. He's got 20 walks allowed over 31 1/3 innings. Going back to last year, so that's 20 walks over 31 1/3 innings. Last year, 51 walks over almost 200 innings. So his walks are through the roof right now. And that is obviously a concern. I'd prefer to let him even things out and get back to normal before I do anything here at this point with Manoah. Because he's still kind of labored through and he's had some respectable starts at the end of the day, numbers wise. But as I mentioned, those walks are concerned. I mean, he's got 4 starts with at least 4 walks, 1 start with 5 walks sprinkled in there. He's got a really nice, obviously that great start against the Yankees, but then bounced back with 6 hits, 4 walks. Managed only to allow 2 earned runs to the Seattle, but you could absolutely see if that's going to continue. You could see this Red Sox team putting up some runs on Manoah here, and the total in this one's 9.5. So I would pump the brakes on Manoah in this one. You've got a Boston team that's won 4 in a row right now. Their offense is really cooking. Maybe you could see some regression from them, but This is tricky because he obviously, like I said, 2 starts ago, Manoah was absolutely lights out, the guy you expect him. Then he bounced back and had, like I said, 6 hits, 4 walks. Managed to get out of danger, but that's still obviously a lot of danger. So I'm treading lightly on Manoah. I don't want to keep pounding the train of the Boston team total. You can get plus money over 4.5, but it's a dangerous game to play there. I would at least just tread lightly on that one altogether. Moving forward, Ohtani on the mound for the Angels. Ohtani versus Mikolas, Angels, Cardinals. Ohtani last time out, 5 earned runs allowed. First start allowing more than 1 earned run this entire season. He's been fantastic up until that point, obviously. Not the case so far this year. Billy, eyes are thinking the same way I'm thinking today. What I was actually going to say as far as maybe looking a little funky. On one hand, you have a Cardinals team who is 10-20, along with my White Sox, maybe even more so than my White Sox, considering where you probably had some more confident expectations for this Cardinals team, one of the most disappointing teams to this point. So at some point, you should probably expect them to break out a little bit. Maybe that's less of a point today. Finally saw some Ohtani regression last time. So on one hand, you might expect to bounce back. On the other hand, like I was going to say, hasn't happened so far. I think he's had 3 starts on the road, and they've all been very solid in a couple cases. One start must have been a rain out, only pitched 2 innings. But going back to last year on the road, he was still very good, still probably, all-star level on the road. But a 1.82 ERA at home over 14 starts, 2.92 ERA over 14 starts on the road. So he's noticeably better at home, not quite as dominant on the road. He's hittable a little bit, makes a few more mistakes, and a team could capitalize it. So that's why I think that is the way it is. On the other hand, in Mikolas' case, he finally had a very good start last time, 6 1/3, 4 hits, no runs allowed, 2 walks. So maybe you could see him regressing a little bit off of that, but maybe you think Mikolas is due for a couple good starts in a row here. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of expecting a little regression from Ohtani on the road here. That's, again, he's still obviously good, still a sub-3 ERA on the road last year, but compared to a sub-2 ERA at home, and what's putting him in the MVP conversation overall, a lot of it was done at home, and just on the road I wouldn't consider it dominant like you would consider him at home. So that is why I think you're seeing some fishiness there on top of a Cardinals team that is certainly better than their record suggests. That is the other part of that one as well. So if you believe in what I'm saying as far as maybe Ohtani not being quite as sharp on the road and maybe having even if he's given up 3 earned runs tonight, that's obviously not terrible, but it's still some regression from where he was. And you believe in this Cardinals team and offense to turn it around. I mean, offensively, they've lost 4 in a row, and offensively has been ugly. So if you trust their offense to bounce back a little bit and their team to get out of what they've got going on, then I could absolutely see you and I are thinking the same thing here with this one, Billy. So thank you for bringing that one up. At the very least, an Ohtani start at that level against a struggling team and a pitcher who's not Scherzer, Verlander, any A-lister, name whoever you want. That is a little funky for sure there. So let's see. Only a couple more left. Again, if anyone wants to drop anything in the comments, if I missed anything, go ahead. Milwaukee and the Rockies. I don't know what to expect out of this one, out of this pitching matchup. I would say the pitching matchup is a toss-up, and you could see either team's offense putting up a boatload of runs. So I'm going to stay away from it. But what I wanted to bring up today, as far as the Rockies, I mean, the last 2 years, you talked about the home team Rockies, whatever their winning record at home, terrible losing record on the road. But so far this year, what are they? 5-9 at home. At some point, they're probably going to start playing some better ball at home. So I'm not suggesting necessarily tonight. I would say that line looks a little goofy as far as a 18-11 team up against a 10-20 team. But as far as that pitching matchup, Lauer and Freeland, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Milwaukee's putting up. Rockies fade Lauer. If you are a fade Lauer person, then by all means, go for it. I can absolutely get behind that. This one also seemed fishy. But I am at a point where I might be just attacking, especially if I can get them plus money. It might be a kind of a volume swinger on this Rockies team at home. most people missed the boat the last couple of years when they started off, whatever, I don't know off the top. I just throw it on a random guess, 20-12 at home, and then you kind of miss the boat. Now they're 5-9, and you might be able to capitalize on them winning some home games and actually going on some nice stretches at home. And as far as the Brewers, you could also see them regressing to some degree. I mean, Rockies won the one game yesterday. Offense now these last 2 days has been pretty pedestrian. Brewers are certainly better than people expected, but you could absolutely see them regressing offensively especially. I mean, if they have a cold stretch offensively, they could start losing some games, and if they don't have dominant pitching, they could start losing a bunch of games. So, Billy, you and I are thinking the same way with baseball here. It's not my most confident day by any means, but you and I are thinking the same thing here today. And then last one up, I probably will, what did I have down for this one? Seattle and Oakland, Gilbert versus Sears. Sears has not been great at all. 6 earned runs allowed. Last time out, he's not very good. And then Gilbert has been all right. 4 earned runs in each of his last 2. Hasn't been terrible. Hasn't been great. Was much better last year. So at some point, I think you could see him rounding into form a little bit here. Not sure what to expect out of this one. I'm staying far away and considering this one kind of a coin flip. And alas, of course, I have managed to skip my White Sox. So to close it all out, I will bring that one all the way home. The 2-game winning streak, Chicago White Sox. Forget their record. They've won 2 games in a row. Varland for the Twins tonight and Dylan Cease on the mound for the White Sox. Obviously, Dylan Cease, ace for the White Sox, had a nice start to the season. These last couple have not gone his way. Certainly the last one. The couple before that, not terrible by any means. Just not good. Last time out, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks against the Tampa Bay Rays. Saw them 2 times in a row. That definitely didn't help the second time around, and obviously the Rays were a much more ready team than the White Sox were there. But Cease, I mean, you would hope that Cease is ready to rock and roll tonight. Has seen the Twins once this year. 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs total, only one of them earned. This one, if you want to take the Twins after the White Sox win 2 games, by all means, go ahead. I am obviously biased. I am more feeling better about a Dylan Cease bounce-back start. Could the White Sox offense put up 1 run? Absolutely, they absolutely could, and the White Sox could lose this one 3-1. As far as Varland is concerned, small sample size for him, only a handful of starts last year. 1 start this year, 6, and this was April 14th, so a few weeks ago. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, all of them home runs, 1 walk, 8 Ks. So you're hoping the White Sox can maybe put some home runs up. Give me a Jake Berger home run. It's been a few days, and a Jake Berger off of a righty home run is due in my book. It's been a few days there, so I'll go Jake Berger home run. But if you like the Twins, I'm not hating on you in this one. But I do like Dylan Cease to be a lot better tonight. But again, the White Sox offense could absolutely turn into putrid night for sure. So, Billy, just to switch things up and not go together on every single one, I'll go against you on this one. So if you win this one, kudos to you. But my White Sox need to win about 15 in a row here. So. Or else it's going to be some ugly days ahead. So, without further ado, unless Marty, thank you for stopping by. Keeping this one short and sweet. Thank you, Billy, for stopping by and commenting. Thank you, Connor. I don't think I missed anyone else. Thank you, Connor, for stopping by as well. So thank you guys for keeping me busy and keeping me company here. But without further ado, I mentioned I'm not your NHL guy, so anyone that's got any thoughts, go right ahead. As I mentioned, about 30 minutes from now, Jeff Dawson and Brady Cannon will be talking Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow. Really, really, really good field. Probably one of the, I'd say, obviously everyone talks about the 5th major, but one of the best 10 tournaments of the year, I would say, as far as Wells Fargo, if you're really, making an entire list. So the big names will be out for this one. If not all of them, most of them will be out for this one. So definitely worth watching for you as well there. So I know I will be gone tomorrow. I've got some other things to tend to. I know Jeff will have some programming tomorrow, and then I believe I will be back. And as per usual, plenty of action, plenty of shows going on Friday. So thank you again to everyone that stopped by. Best of luck tonight if you are wagering. Stop by here in about 30 minutes for Jeff and Brady Cannon's PGA Tour show to get you prepped up for the Wells Fargo. And beyond that, we will see you later, and hope you have a good rest of the week and stay responsible on these lanes, my friends. Have a nice night.